You know what? It was I thought, a really exceptional day. We were blessed to have a really good weather. Our players have worked hard. The spring games are never going to be perfect, but it's an opportunity for our players to experience a game and go out and play. And we think those things are important. Many times you try to replicate things in practice until you get into a game. It just feels a little different. However, we understand this, wasn't a regulation game, but I think that there's some things that we can glean from that as players go out there. Certainly encouraged about some of our playmaking ability. Wyatt Whelan did some great things. And then I really think in the secondary we did some really good things there too. Now some of it have to take a look at our quarterback play. I mean, I thought we started out strong, but certainly got maybe a little bit careless. And there's a give and take, whether we're hanging the ball out, some errant throws. But I was encouraged about the back end guys. I think there were some good things that we saw on that. And so lines of scrimmage, we were thin today, as you guys saw. We saw some tackles and gold jerseys and things like that. But once again, I think it's important for us to have a semblance of a game. And certainly we held some guys out. There were some repetitions that, we watched how many reps that Trayton Welsh got. We watched how many reps, our running back Harrison Whaley's got some surgery he's going to have done. We think it's going to be somewhat, simple. But so we're a little thin at the running back position. But overall, I was pleased with the effort. I thought our tackling has improved from last fall, and we made that a point of emphasis, so we did a better job of that, and we ball hawked the ball fairly well. Up until the tail end, I thought we pass protected fairly well. I allowed each team a trick play. I think the one team did it in about the first series, and that didn't work so well. But anyhow, really good day for the Cowboys, and now they'll transition to summer workouts, finals and summer workouts, and as we get ready for Texas Tech. So I'll open it up to questions.
Craig, you've said all spring that if you have one lockdown corner, you can really do a lot of things with your defense. It appears you might have a couple of pretty good ones.
Well, we're going to see how that goes. There were some good things they certainly did today, and I'll watch the tape, but the two competitive guys out there. Yep.
Craig, when you consider, obviously the top three running backs went out there and you were very short at tackle, what's a fair judgment of what the quarterbacks did, just passing?
A little bit of a mixed bag. I thought Andrew really started out, his reads were really crisp. And but then he forced, he hung the ball out there with Tyrekus. And, I've talked to him about that. You play in Wyoming and the wind's going to be blowing and you're on one hash and you're throwing out to the bottom of the numbers to the other hash. Those corners are going to have a chance to make a play. And he did. And then I thought, we had the bootleg, and Colby really came up with a nice interception there as well. Evan, from what I understand, I came up to the press box, and I asked my sister what the heck happened. I guess we fumbled something right at the beginning, which I'll take a look at that. I thought Evan began to get in the flow of the game. I think his body of work over the spring has been better than what he showed today. He does have a strong arm. Jalen did some good things as well. So I would say a little bit of a mixed bag. And we threw the ball more. We wanted to throw the ball more today to get more of an evaluation. And as you're right, I mean, I think we've got a pretty good stable of running backs that are coming. So we wanted to stress some of the wide receivers and tight ends.
Greg, you talked about how the Wyoming guy seems to always step up in these games. How encouraging was it to see Isaac Sell today? He had like 8 touches or something like that.
Well, he's been a good player. He's given us fits on the scout team, so that was encouraging. Nick Talich made some plays out there. And so, we're always excited about these Wyoming guys having a chance to go out and play. And a spring game is a neat time for them as well.
You've talked about the tight ends this spring, too. They made some big plays
Yeah,
on the field.
there's no doubt. As you started out the beginning part of the game, now things changed. And we were going to do a rep count of Trayton at 14 and John Mike at 21 and then shut them down. And so you saw some personnel groupings out there that may not be like we normally do. We were in 11 quite a bit, and I think you'll see us be more 12. But you saw those two guys I think, are establishing themselves. Treyton's been here, and John Mike played a little bit last year and has continued to do some things. And those just weren't short Y-stick passes. Those were some pretty deep strikes.
Are you gonna yell at Rick Brown for crackback?
I yelled it when I was up in the press box, I can tell you that. You know what happens, I think our offensive players they're schooled up on that. A defensive player is not. Rook is really an aggressive player, and so it's a teachable moment. I'm glad it came up in the spring game, and I'm glad Caleb was okay. But like I said, that's something that, say, like wide receivers are taught not to do and everything else, and it's an error on my part. I hadn't talked to Rook about it. It was a big-time hit. I know that.
Craig, I get the sense that you're kind of excited about this team.
Uh-huh.
The body of work for the 15 practices for the entire team, now the countdown to Texas Tech, just what's your feeling about this?
Yeah, I'm excited about the team, and that's an honest assessment. And, you know, sometimes you don't want to, brag about tomorrow because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, Ryan. But, you know, I need to be honest with myself and my assessment. And the team chemistry's been very good. We talked about improving 2%. And that may not seem like a lot, but if you're a guy like Wyatt Wheeland, who's a 6-year guy, and he's got his flying 10 down to a .92, and it's hard to get to a .91. All those guys are doing things that we're really encouraged about, and I think we have a hungry football team. And in today's age of everybody's going all kinds of different places, and we've had that, my sense is we've got a pretty unified locker room. Now, once again, I've not been surprised. I'll be here for the next couple days before I go to Mountain West meetings. All over the country you're seeing guys jump in the portal after their spring game. But getting back to your point, I think the making of this football team is there. And we've talked about our expectation, raising the bar. And I think we have more depth than what we've had, Ryan. We have certainly some more experience at certain places. And we need to leverage that. So I am personally excited, and it'll be fun to get these guys into fall camp.
Yeah, there was 20 points off turnovers combined between the two teams. I mean, you talked about the quarterback play, but how encouraging was that?
Yeah, I came in, I said it. You saw some guys make plays on defense, and those were not a play where the ball was just thrown right at them. I mean, Buck Coors made a really nice play. As we said, the two corners, those two plays were contested. And you have a pick six for a touchdown. And the ball was on the ground some other plays too. So I think we're a more explosive defense. A lot of times defensive coaches will do these turnover circuits, and that's, I cut my teeth as a DC. What I found through the years, you get more takeaways and turnovers when you're more athletic. A couple of years ago we had Logan Wilson and Carl Granderson and all these guys, and I think we were third in the country in turnover margin, and we won a lot of games. And so I was encouraged by what we saw there.